All right, so we got a little bit of a different setup going on for today's video. I'm typically not doing these kind of casual sit down videos. I mean, my videos are pretty casual, but like this is a completely different style of me just sitting down talking to you guys today. But I wanted to come on today and kind of give you guys a story and a rundown of how I got started or how I fumbled into being a bag designer, because a lot of people ask me this question all the time, like, oh, what is your story? How did you get started? And I always tell them long story short because it's kind of a long story. So I'm like, you know what? Let me just make a video, put it up here, and I can direct people to this video. And I thought it would be perfect today because today is also my 5-year business anniversary. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. 5 years, 5 years. You already know you're watching an icon in the making in the bag space. How does it feel? And again, please ignore my microphone setup today because, like I said in my last video, my audio for my microphone messed up. So I've been using little janky ghetto setups. But today I thought I'd get a little innovative. I thought I'd use a little handheld situation going on. So I got my phone on the tripod, upside down, microphone to my lips, probably being way too loud, but we're getting it done. So if you don't know me and you're new here, my name is Rovel Gaither. I am 24 years old. I'm in the Bay Area. I am a handbag designer. I like to call myself a bag artist because I like to consider my work art. I make bags and I design bags. And I like to use denim in a lot of my work. It's either denim or canvas that I use in my work. And I'll kind of explain a little bit why I use it a little later on, but I do have some outlines and notes to kind of keep myself on topic because if I don't, I will ramble way too long. So let's get into the story. So for this, I had to take you guys all the way back to my years in high school. So I actually got into fashion my second year of high school. I was in gym. I guess I could say I always liked fashion. Like I always liked clothes. I thought they were really cool. But when I was younger, I didn't really have much choice in what I got to wear because uniforms and things like that in school. And then the only time we would really get new clothes a lot of the times was, back to school shopping, like around that time, Christmas, back to school shopping. Because when you're younger, you don't really need a bunch of clothes like that. So, and when I got shopping, it was mostly for clothes, for school and things like that. So I didn't really have much choice in fashion. But when I got to high school, I was in PE. I will never forget this day. I was in PE and there was this guy. His name's Kayvon. We became close friends, but his name's Kayvon. He had this leopard print colorful shirt on and I don't know why. I thought it was so cool. So I went up to him and I asked, and I was like, where did you get your shirt from? He was like, oh, I got it from H&M. And at the time I had never heard of H&M. I never shopped there. I never anything of that nature. I used to shop at Gap, Nike, Macy's, things like that. So he was like, H&M. I was like, oh, I never heard of that. So I was like, okay. So then one day after, I asked my mom if she could take me on the weekends to go to the mall so I can go to H&M. And I think like 2 weeks later, we had went to this big mall. I can't remember exactly where, but it was a humongous mall and they had an H&M there that was huge. It was like 2, 3 stories, whatever have you. And I fell in love with clothes, which is so crazy that H&M got me into clothing. But I fell in love with clothing. I bought a bunch of things and that was kind of started and not spun, but that kind of snowballed the journey down the rabbit hole of fashion and things like that. So then I started buying a bunch of clothes, started getting into fashion, clothing, dressing, and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, why don't I start trying to make my own stuff for like revamping, recycling, all that type of stuff. So then I asked my mom because she had a sewing machine that she had bought years prior to me even asking her about it to make some curtains that she never used it for. So it was just sitting in the garage collecting dust. And I asked her after school one day, I was like, hey, can you show me how to use the sewing machine in the garage? Like I'm going to get into, making clothes and stuff I'm really interested in. She was like, yeah, I'll show you. She never did. So one day after school, I was like, you know what? She's taking too long. So I went in the garage, searched up and down through the whole thing to find it. And I brought it upstairs into my room. And I used to walk home with my friends all the time. So one of my friends was over while I was in the garage. She helped me out. And that day, I turned this old H&M shirt that I had into this halter top for her. Like I upcycled it. And I sat on the floor, this very room, this used to be my bedroom, this very room that is now my studio. We sat on the floor, literally probably right where I am right now. And because I didn't really have a desk or space like that in my room. But we sat on the floor. I pressed the freaking sewing machine pedal with my hand and sewed. I didn't know what I was doing. It was my first time really sewing. I had no idea what I was doing. I was just playing around, but it was so much fun. And I made her that halter top and I fell in love with making clothes and designing and all of that. And I was like, you know what? I want to be a designer. I want to be a fashion designer. That's what I want to be. So I started making a bunch of just random clothes. I was watching a bunch of YouTube videos, just learning how to sew. Again, I'm self-taught. So I was just watching a bunch of videos, practicing all the good stuff, and everything was pretty much terrible. Like it was not good at all, but I really loved it. And I had so much fun making all this stuff. So then me and my friends, I want to say this is my third year of high school. My third year of high school. me and my friends, we started a fashion club, which was mostly my friend Lauren. She did most of the heavy lifting in the work. But we started a fashion club because at the high school that I went to, they used to have a fashion design class, but the teacher had passed away, so they stopped offering the class. So we kind of took over that room and turned it into an after school fashion club type of situation. And it was so much fun. We had the instructor, Miss Greenside. She was amazing. She really helped us hone our skills and just love for fashion design and just having fun with clothes and recycling and all that type of stuff. And the first assignment that we had that day, which is crazy, the first day of the fashion club that was up and open, she assigned us to make bags. Like it's so crazy how this happened. And funny enough, I made a denim two-tone bag. Like it was a little drawstring bag, nothing too crazy. But I just thought that was funny how, my first day in fashion club, I made a bag that was denim, and now I'm making denim bags as a brand. And I never saw that coming. And I always thought I was going to be a menswear fashion designer. Like that was my goal the whole time in high school. I was always like, oh, I'm going to be a menswear fashion designer. Like I'm going to design clothes for men's. Like I'm going to take over the fashion game. Da, 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 da. And I'm making bags. And I also forgot to say at the time that my mom's machine that she had, I still have it. It's up in the closet back there, but it was a terrible brother sewing machine. It was not good at all. So at the time, again, like I said, I used to walk home from high school. So there was a Walmart on the way home. Me and my friends always used to stop at the Walmart and just buy snacks and stuff. But one day I was like, you know what? I want to get a new sewing machine because I don't like this machine. It's terrible. It's not good. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a new sewing machine. So I went there. And after school, I paid $300 for like this Singer heavy duty sewing machine. And I literally carried that machine all the way home. And that was the machine that I kind of taught myself how to sew with and really learn how to sew clothes with on. And I love the machine. I still have it to this day. I still use it every now and then, and it's amazing. So yeah, again, we were in fashion club. We were making all these clothes. We made our prom outfits. We made a bunch of random stuff. We did projects for the school, for like school plays and things like that. And then I graduated and I stopped sewing. And I was making funny videos on the internet when I graduated because I had stopped sewing because I was like, I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't really, I liked it, but I was like, I don't really know where I'm taking this right now. So I stopped and put it on the back burner. And I was looking around for colleges, fashion design schools and programs that, offered fashion design courses in my area, but it wasn't too many choices. And I was like, you know what? I don't really care. I never really wanted to go to college. My parents kind of forced me to. So I graduated. I took like a year off. I wasn't really doing anything, just chilling. I was making funny videos on the internet because I've always made funny videos on the internet. I've been making videos and YouTube videos since I was in the 8th grade. So I was making funny videos on Instagram, like little skits and stuff like that. And I wasn't going to school. My parents were like, you need to start thinking about going to school. I was like, I don't want to. I want to do videos. I want to be a funny video. I want to go to LA. I want to be a content creator. The whole spiel. And it was like, no, you're going to college. So they made me enroll in this local community college school. And I was taking business courses and things like that. And I hated it so much. I was like, you know what? I'm only going here because my parents are forcing me. But once I figure out what I really want to do, I'm dropping out and I'm not coming back. So again, like I said, I was making funny videos on the internet, but then I stopped because at the time, it's a really traumatic time, so I'm not going to get too much into it, but I got really heavily into conspiracy Christian side of internet and that whole mindset, and I almost got caught up in a Christian cult, and it was really a crazy time, and I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I got caught up in that, and I stopped making funny videos because I was like, oh, this is not Christian, like, this is not very godlike, so I'm going to stop doing this. So I stopped making videos, and yeah, I was caught up in that whole crazy. It was crazy. I'm not going to get too much into it. And yeah, I started making videos, and then I was really lost because I was going to school. I started making videos. I was like, crap, I don't know what I want to do. I'm stuck here. I wanted to drop out when I figured out what I wanted to do, and this is not working. So I was going there and I hated it. I was really depressed because I didn't know what I wanted to do. And I've always been an artistic person. I've always wanted to be someone who had a career in just creating. Like I've always been that type of person. That's who I've been. So yeah, I was really lost. I was depressed. It was one of the most depressing times in my life because I was like, I don't know what I'm doing in my life. I'm wasting my life. So one day, this was in 2020. So literally 5 years ago. Yeah, 2020. My auntie came over because her birthday was coming up. And she was like, oh, I know you know how to sew. My birthday's coming up. I'm going to New York for my birthday. We're going to the Wendy Williams show. I want you to make me a purple fur vest because her favorite color, not but her favorite color was purple. So I was like, oh, I can do that. I was a little skeptical because I was like, oh, I haven't sewn in a while. Like, I don't know if I can take this on. But for some reason, I was like, you know what? Let me do it. Let me make her this fur vest. So we went shopping. We got the fabric and everything. And I made her the vest. And I fell back in love with sewing after not sewing for however long it was after I graduated. And I was like, why have I, all this time I've been figuring out what I want to do? Why have I not been sewing? So fell back in love with sewing. And at this time, I was looking for a job. It was like towards the beginning of COVID. I was looking for a job. Nobody would hire me. I applied to like 30 different jobs. I heard back from like three. They turned me down. And it was just depressing because I was like, I need a job. No one wants to hire me. And it was bad. So like 2 weeks after I finished the vest for my auntie, my mom's friend came over and she had this really cool MCM sling bag on. And I don't know why I thought it was so cool, but I was like, you know what? I'm getting back into sewing and I think this bag is cool. Why don't I try to make my own MCM sling or MCM style sling bag? So I was like, okay, I'm going to try this out. I've never done this before, but I'm going to, challenge myself. I'm getting back into sewing. Why not challenge myself and have fun? So I had some leftover denim fabric in my closet, the same closet that I had used for in high school for different projects and things like that. So I used that denim because I didn't want to go out and pay all this money for fabrics and things like that for a new endeavor that I've never really done, that I'm not good at. So I was like, I'm going to save the money, use fabric that I have, play around with that. So I made my first ever bag pattern. And again, I didn't know what I was doing. I watched YouTube videos on it and I just kind of took the little bit of knowledge that I have from sewing in high school and applied it to bag making. And it took me 2 weeks to make one bag, but I really fell in love with making bags. And I was like, oh my gosh, I actually kind of like this. Like, I think I can do this. So I started up at Etsy because again, I was looking for a job and needed a job. So I was like, you know what? I need a job. I need money. Why don't I just start selling these on Etsy? So I made an Etsy. It was a complete fail. I got no sales. The only sale that I got on Etsy was from my one friend, Anthony, because he wanted me to make him a bag. And I was like, oh, if you go on my Etsy and buy it, I'll make you one. Because on Etsy, it shows you how many sales you've had. So I was like, I'm tired of looking at zero sales. So I was like, you know what? You go on there, buy it. It made my sale go up to one. And I made it for him. And at the time, my business was called Rovel's G Co. So I started out with my brand being Rovel's G Co on Etsy. And I don't know what made me be delusional to make a website because I was failing on Etsy so bad. But I was like, let me make a website. Maybe that's why I'm not doing good. So I want to say at this time, that's when I dropped out of college because it was, again, the pandemic and everything was online. So I was here in this room at home, doing my online courses. And I was like, you know what? Let me just stop going to school. Like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. I don't care for this. Like, I'm not learning anything valuable. I found what I want to do. And like I said, I'm only here to figure out what I want to do. So at that point, I just stopped going to my classes online. And my parents thought I was going to school the whole time, but I was really in here making bags, learning how to make bags and watching videos and all this stuff. And it wasn't for like months until they find out that I was not going to school. So I'll get to that later. But so yeah, I started my website. I was, let me see, because I started my Etsy first. And then I remember, I was at Etsy and I started my website. And then when I first opened up my website, I was selling like bucket hats, like denim bucket hats and little bags and stuff like that. And the first day I opened my site, I got 3 sales. It was from my friends and people that I know. And it kind of just spiraled from there. And then I just kept going. I got on TikTok because my friend, her name's Angel. She was like, "Oh my gosh, TikTok. I use TikTok. I think it's cool. I think it would be cool if you got on TikTok." But at the time, TikTok wasn't really as popular as it is now. I was like, I don't know. I don't really care for it. Like, I'm not on there. I don't care. But she was like, you do videos. You do good. I think you do good on TikTok. So I got on TikTok and started posting videos of me sewing. And I kind of grew a following on TikTok from there. And I was using Instagram as well, posting photos and things like that. I mean, my whole entire journey has been documented on social media, from YouTube to Instagram to TikTok. Like, you can scroll all the way down and see me from the very beginning of my journey and how I got started. So yeah, I mean, I dropped out and my parents were really I would say more so my dad was mad at the fact that I dropped out of school. And sorry if this is all over the place. I'm like, again, I have my notes, but they're not like really in crazy chronological order. It's just like things that I need to talk about. So I had dropped out and my dad was like, why are you dropping out of college to make bags? Like, he just couldn't understand it, which, I mean, I get it. Like, if your kid comes to you and is like, I'm going to drop out of school because I want to make bags, you're going to be like, what the are you talking about? And at the time I was like, why don't you get it? Like, I'm onto something. Like, I really think I can do this. Like, I'm good at this. I like it. I love it. And I really think that, this is something I can do. But he just didn't see it because he was like, I don't understand. Like, why do you want to make bags? Like, you're going to leave school to make bags. Like, it just didn't seem smart to him. So we had a lot of arguments and fights about, not really arguments, but a lot of disagreements on the topic. And he was like, you need to go back to school. I was like, I don't want to. I hate it. It made me depressed. I wasn't happy. And I found what I want to do. I really want to focus and hone in on this and really do it. So now he accepts what I do 100%. Like, both of my parents are very supportive of what I do now. But at the time, it was like really clashing heads a lot. And it made me feel bad because it made me feel like I had to hurry up and rush certain things and like be successful and hit certain milestones to kind of prove to him that, oh, I can actually do this. Like I can, be an adult. I can do a business, because he didn't think I had it in me. But he's really supportive now. And yeah, so I dropped out. I was really focused on doing the bags. I was posting on TikTok, making a bunch of videos. And yeah, that's like, here, let me look at my notes to make sure I hit everything, because and I don't want to make this video too long. It's just kind of like a more longer story on more longer version. I'm messing up. More of a longer version of the story on how I got started in making bags. And yeah, again, I'm self-taught, so I just watched a bunch of videos. My favorite channels when I got started were Lauren Mormino, Jess Oakler Roots, Sia Swag Bags, and there's another one I can't remember that seems legit. Those are my favorite channels to watch. I literally binged watch Lauren Mormino videos like it was my life depended on it. Like, and it's so crazy now because most of those people now follow me and, show love to my work. And it's so crazy that people that I looked up to in the beginning and learned so much from, because again, I'm self-taught. So I just watch their videos and be like, oh, you did that. Okay, let me try that. Or, oh, because there's really on bag making, like I tried to look it up and things like that. There's not much information on the internet to learn about bag making. You really just have to get in the field and learn how to do it and pick up the skill and just practice at it. So those people were really monumental in my step towards bag making in my journey. So I'm really appreciative of them and the love that they show me now. And it's so crazy that they follow me now. And it's like, what is going on? Like, what is going on? But yeah, so that is kind of how I got started. Again, I kind of fumbled into this. This was never my plan. I always thought I was going to be a menswear fashion designer. And it's crazy too, because in high school, when after school, me and my friends, we used to go to this Goodwill. And I always used to be so obsessed with going to the bag section. I don't know why, but I used to go to the bag section all the time and just look through the bags and think I thought I don't know what it is. I was just so enamored with the bags and I couldn't put my finger on it. And I'm like, that's crazy. I'm a bag designer now. Maybe I was like just always into it and I never really could put my finger on why I was so into bags. But I really do love bags. I consider it an art and it's something that I take very serious. And, I want to do this for the rest of my life. Or I don't know. I mean, there may be other things that I may want to do. There may be a day where I get back into fashion design and clothing in that nature, but I'm really honed in on the bags. That's really what I want to do. Um, and yeah, I've been running my business for 5 years now, and it is hard. It is very hard. I have faced so many hardships, especially financially and mentally. Like this is very mentally and financially draining. And, I'm not in the best place financially most of the time because this is a very expensive craft and hobby and business to upkeep. So, when sales are slow and, the economy is literally trash, it's really hard to, keep going and stay motivated to keep going, especially when you see so many other designers get opportunities and things like that. And you're like, how are you getting these opportunities? Like what? And you're like, I have no connections. I have no anything. All I have is a dream, passion, and social media. That's literally what I'm doing. And I was just interviewed by this journalist a few days ago. And, we did an interview and it was so crazy. It's so crazy that people are that interested in my work that I'm literally getting in. This is like the fourth time I've been interviewed by for my work. But she asked me a question. She was like, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Like, what goals do you have? And I was like, I don't know, to be more financially stable, because I want to take this as far as I can, of course. And I don't really care to be a Gucci or a Louis Vuitton or anything of that nature, because I want my own. I'm trying to figure out what my own version of success looks like for me as a designer in this field that makes that makes their pieces. I don't really care. I don't know. I got to figure a lot of things out. But is there anything else that I want to talk about? Because I feel like I'm skipping a lot of things that I might want to say. On. Maybe I tried to write down as many notes as I could think of, and I'm gonna be so mad if I finish this video and I'm like, oh, why did I talk about this? But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much my journey and how I got started. Again, I don't really know much of what I'm doing. I'm just kind of feeling around in the dark, trying to find my way in this industry, I guess, if that makes sense. So that is that is the full story on how I got started. Sorry if it was all over the place. Again, I'm self-taught, so it's not really I didn't go to school. It's nothing crazy like, oh, I went to the Institute of here and I got this internship here and I was an apprentice here and no. I watch YouTube videos and I practice. Like literally to this day, if I need to learn something, I'll go on YouTube, look it up, and just implement it in my work. Like that's how I learn. And I think for me, I love being self-taught because it's allowed me to find my own way of doing things. Like it's not like there's no industry way of doing these things. Like it's like I can be more creative in my work. I can have more fun. I can be more patient with myself. I don't have to worry about, having to do things the right way. Like there's so many different ways that you can get the same result. And I love that about being self-taught. And I love that I also didn't go to school for it or design or anything like that, because I feel like it allowed me to naturally fall in love with designing and not put so much pressure on trying to get a good grade, and do things the industry way. It kind of helped me develop my own style and voice. So yeah, again, I take this very serious. I love what I do. I design every day. I'm always making stuff. I'm trying to get better, develop my style, and also build up audience of people who really support and love my work authentically too. Like everything I'm doing is authentic. Like this video ain't scripted. None of my videos be scripted. I mean, some of them I do trying to have like outline points, but like I just be turning on the camera talking. I be showing my bags, and I'm always so shocked that people really genuinely like I know my work is really good. Like I plan on being one of the greatest handbag designers ever, and I truly genuinely think that I can. And but I'm always still so shocked when, oops, sorry, I hit the microphone. I'm always so shocked when people actually love my work, because it's like, oh, you see what I see too. Like, I'm not crazy, because sometimes, you can get really down when you're dealing with social media and the algorithms. It's like, oh, my work isn't performing good. So then it makes you be like, oh, maybe this wasn't a good piece, or maybe I'm just not that good. But I got to realize that I can't do that, because algorithms are so finicky, and my work is not, how good my work is not dependent on if an algorithm decides to show my stuff or not. But sometimes it's like you can get into that mindset, oh, my work's not good. So when you see people actually do loving and enjoying and sharing your work, it's like, oh, it feels really good. And I'm just so grateful for everything. But yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling, because that's pretty much it. I just wanted to come on and post this video so I can direct people to this when people ask me, how did I get started? Again, not today. Today is the 25th. Let me make sure. Yeah, today's the 25th. My anniversary is actually tomorrow, but I'm going to be posting this on the day of my anniversary. So 5 years of business for me, it's crazy. I literally can't, like 5 years feels like such a huge milestone. Like I've been doing this full time, like really going full steam ahead at this for 5 years, like pretty much every day coming in here nonstop. And again, this used to be my bedroom, and I turned this into my sewing studio. And it's just so crazy that I always dreamed of being in fashion, but I never thought I would be making bags. So I used to tell people in high school, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a fashion, I'm going to be a fashion designer. Everybody knew, and I loved fashion. I used to dress in all these crazy fur coats and all this in high school, and everybody knew I was the fashion guy. And they're always like, oh, I can't wait to see you make it in fashion. You're going to be a crazy designer. But I never thought I would be in bags. I love it. But with all that being said, I thank you guys for watching. If you watched all the way to the end, make sure you guys give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure you check out my brand. My website is linked down below if you're interested in checking out my work. My social medias are also linked down below. And make sure you check out all my other videos. I typically post full production videos of me making my pieces. So if you're interested in that, I think it's really cool. And if you're interested in making bags, you can kind of learn from watching, because I do show what I'm doing, like the process, and I kind of explain. And yeah, I kind of like this style of video. I might start posting more talking videos, honestly. I think I need to do that, because I feel like I need to talk more with the people who follow me on YouTube, because I just kind of do like my production videos. And even though I'm talking in those, I feel like I'm not directly talking to people. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. That's really it. And yeah, I will see you in my next video. Deuces.